it's the D-Day on two counts because today the results of the judgment rather will be given for the Election Petition Tribunal to later today. And also today is the day the first batch of Nigerians returned from South Africa.
That's right.
In a recent update following the xenophobic attacks. And that forms our conversation for the next 1 hour. Evacuation of Nigerians from South Africa and more updates on the xenophobic attacks going on over there. If you're just joining us, you're welcome. The show started at 6 a.m. and this is the last lap up till 9. And we are live on Facebook, YouTube at Nigeria Info FM, where you can watch us on your devices. And also anywhere you are in the world, just go over to our website, nigeriainfo.fm, and you can listen to us there. On Twitter, it's at Nigeria Info FM, and you can reach us with the hashtag Morning Crossfire. Our WhatsApp number, very active, 08095975805, 08095975805. Join the conversation. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
I'm Sheriff Quadry. Welcome, Nigeria, to the program Morning Crossfire. And as was stated earlier, evacuation of Nigerians from South Africa is what we are looking at. Promises to be interesting. We're expecting to join us on the show this morning the President of Nigeria Union South Africa, Nosa Adetola Olubajo. He will be joining us on the program later on this morning. But we have Temi Gold Olaoye. He's the first president and chairman in council, Nigeria Belgrade Serbian Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Temi Gold, good morning to you and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheriff.
That's right.
Let's give you a breakdown. You know, we like to do a lot of data on the show of these xenophobic attacks this year. The reports that I've been able to put together shows that this started again this year in February, on the 3rd of February precisely, when there were pictures going around of an unknown Nigerian in his mid-20s being shared on Twitter by a Twitter user called Ndugoze, who claimed that the South African police had killed him. Go on to March, you find another one at Troye Street, Sunnyside, Pretoria. April 5th, 2019, a certain Nigerian called Goziem Ekpenyi was also killed by unidentified colored South African men after an argument and died on the spot. April 6th, the very next day, Bonnie Iwoha, who is 48, was also killed in Johannesburg. It was reported that he was trailed from his house up to where he lost his life. April 27th, April 28th, May 3rd, June 13th. You can continue to count the number of Nigerians that have lost their lives. And of course, other Africans who have also died in this new wave. Also head over to social media. There's a video also trending of interviews from South Africans who insist that foreigners must leave their country. Sunday morning, last Saturday, you also find a large protest of about 1,200 to 1,500 people with sticks chanting and singing and asking foreigners to leave their country.
We have joining us right now Adetola Olubajo, President Nigeria Union South Africa on the line. Mr. Adetola, good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's good to have you join us.
Good morning to the listeners.
You're welcome. You joined us the other time when this issue broke out again, the last round of xenophobic attacks, and you are currently in Nigeria, Mr. Adetola. Tell us why you were in Nigeria. I asked you yesterday, are you back because of these attacks? Is that why you returned?
No. I'm not back because of the attack. I had some things to do in my personal capacity.
Okay.
And then also I decided to take it up by speaking with people in government and then civil organizations that can help in advancing our cause for peaceful living in South Africa.
Right.
So I'm currently in Abuja. I've met quite a number of people, and then I'm still going to meet some today with the legal advisor, the head of our legal desk of Nigerian Union South Africa is Barrister Omoroge Ogboru. He's even here with me.
Okay.
And because we need to use the South African law at this point in time.
Right.
So that is the reason why we are in Abuja now.
Okay, we'll talk about more details. You give us details about that, what you're doing in Lagos. But Mr. Temigold, what's your appraisal so far of the response of the Nigerian government? The president sent an envoy to South Africa to discuss with the South African president. And the first batch of Nigerians are being evacuated right now. What does this mean in terms of relations between both countries?
Okay.
Go on, Mr. Temi Gold.
Number one, it's a good step that the president has taken. A lovely step. The envoy was headed by the director of Nigerian Orientation Agency. And I think it's the right step in the right direction, because the issue of South Africa and what is happening there is a two-edged sword.
Right.
You know, the right end, if it touches you, you die. The left edge, if it touches you, you collapse. So it's a two-edged sword, and the government needs to be very careful the way they are involved. Yes, we condemn any maltreatment of any Nigerian anywhere in the world. We condemn maltreatment, not to talk of death. So, but at the same time, our brothers, some of our brothers, are not really doing good in South Africa, are not really portraying our culture and what we Nigerians stand for. But as per what the federal government has done, is the right step in the right direction.
Some people have said that the federal government needs to show a bit more firmness when it comes to, saying no to some, ill treatment of Nigerians, especially when it comes to xenophobic attacks in South Africa. A lot of people have said the federal government hasn't been firm enough.
Like I said it's a two-edged sword. The government needs to be very careful, and they need to handle it diplomatically. Mr. Adetola there will tell you that people like him has not been threatening them in South Africa. Those that are real professionals, that are doing the right job, that are living according to the Constitution of South Africa, are not really having much problem. It is those that are involved in some things or the other. When these things happen, and the first thing I ask is, who is that person? What does he do in South Africa?
At this point, I'll come to Mr. Adetola on this in a moment, but at this point, we're talking about the loss of lives. Does it matter what that person is doing in South Africa? If these are illegal migrants, shouldn't the right thing to do be to deport them rather than killing them, beating them up, and also looting legally owned businesses?
That is unacceptable. You understand? But at the same time, if you're mediating within two people fighting, you need to go to the cause of the fight. What causes the fight? We are not saying that government should not take a very serious action should be taken against those that did those things against Nigeria. And if they can't be found, South Africans should be held responsible. But at the same time, we should look internally into ourselves. That's the only way we'll truly solve this.
We should look we should look at Nigerians, you mean?
Yes, we Nigerians should look at ourselves. We should revalue and we look at things the other way. Yes, we condemn this. Yes, we will fight it. Yes, we will stand for our brothers. But what is the cause? Is it only Nigerians that is in South Africa? We only have 27,000 something of Nigerians in South Africa. Zimbabwe has 649. Mozambique has 381.
So you think that Nigerians might have caused this or brought this to happen?
I'm not talking about cause. I'm not talking about, one, the death and the looting and beating, harassing of Nigerians is condemned anywhere in the world. But at the same time, we need to look internally into ourselves. Is our brothers, are they doing the right thing in South Africa? Those that die, what work are they actually doing? We're saying they have to. No! But to correct things so that it doesn't happen again. If not, we'll just keep going round and round and round.
Okay, Mr. Adetola, the last time we spoke, which was when, just close to when
sorry, I would like to respond to Mr.
Yes,
Gold.
okay. Go on.
Because there are highly level of, I slightly disagree with him on his analysis. We are there, and yes, quite a number of times, people that are targeted are people on the street. Some of us have actually crossed that level that you need to go through some security before you get to us. Yes, accepted. But it is a wrong perception and narrative that is being pushed by the media, that is sponsored by the government of South Africa, to say that it is because Nigerians are engaging in criminal activities, that is why they are being killed. And it's also a wrong perception by the media, most especially that of Nigeria, that it's only Nigerians that are being affected. In fact, we speak about Nigeria alone because we are Nigerians.
Right.
As we speak, there are over 300 people that have been displaced in a center in Catleon in Johannesburg. Majority of them are from Zimbabwe and Mozambique.
Right.
So a lot of nationals are affected, and not just Nigerians alone. And this thing, the way it happens, I want to ask some questions. Post it to your guest, Mr. Gold. Mrs. Chuku that was strangled. Is she a criminal?
In her hotel room?
Yes. In 2017, Aro was killed by some taxi driver. Though we have been able to resolve that, and by the grace of God, there will not be anything like killing of our people, because we have been able to integrate our people, and we have a forum where we speak together with the locals.
Right.
So now, is he a drug dealer? Badmos, a student that was strangled by a South African. Those police are going to jail because their matter will be decided upon by November.
Right.
And so now there are quite a number that I can cite, and there are systemic xenophobic. Just a few days ago, the Mpumalanga province wrote a circular and said that they will stop employing foreign doctors. And majority of the doctors are Nigerian doctors.
Right.
They say just because of they don't have money. Why are they doing it? Why this xenophobic attack is going on?
Right.
Many of the people that have been arrested, they have arrested over 700. They are foreign nationals, and those people are not tried. So there is high level of xenophobia there. There is systemic one. Some of us, we know how we live in that place. That is not to say that some of our people are engaging in criminal activities. But when we use that as a justification for jungle justice, then we are forwarding their narrative.
Right.
Why is it that when there is no xenophobic attack, they are not telling us about this crime? A lot of Nigerians have been jailed for this criminal activity. So the justice system is taking care of that. They should not hide under Nigerians are committing crime.
Right.
No.
I'm with you on this one, Mr. Adetola, which is what I was going to ask you. The last time we talked about this, on Nigeria Info, we talk a lot about data. Right now in South Africa, for South Africans under the age of 35, the rate of unemployment sits at 55.2%. And like you rightly said, it looks like an attempt by the South African government to shift attention from bad governance and inability to deal with the issues relating to standard of living and the economy in South Africa. We had a conversation with Mr. Bobby Monroe, who is the South African High Commissioner of South Africa in Nigeria. And I asked him about what the government was doing about providing jobs for South Africans. And if they don't have jobs, then you have a high number of people who will be involved in criminality. Right. South Africa is also known very highly for a high rate of criminality, drug abuse, rape, and femicide. So I'm not sure that, rightly placing these at the doorsteps of Nigerians or other foreign nationals is the way to go. However, let me ask you, Mr. Adetola, the last time we spoke, the government had just sent an envoy, and we didn't know who was on that envoy. We later discovered that the envoy was just made up of one person, who is the Director General, National Intelligence Agency, Ahmed Rufai Abubakar. Were you impressed by the meeting between the envoy and the South African government? Do you think it changed anything?
Well, so far, when the envoy left, I think few days, the second day, the attack continues. The envoys left on Saturday.
On Saturday, that's right.
And then on Sunday,
there was a protest.
Attack continues even in the night till Monday. And it was yesterday that calm is being restored. So whatever is being done at that particular point in time has not been implemented. But we are actually happy that our government is being active this time around. So we need to give kudos to them. Having said that, we need to also call for more of this kind of moves, because when things are going wrong with you and you feel less concerned, you are giving go ahead to those people to continue. For example, now, I don't know if you get that. In Free State, one of the provinces, there was looting yesterday. There was looting of foreign-owned shops, though police were able to solve that. And so this thing continues to spread, because few days after, which is on Monday, there was looting also in Cape Town. There was a robbery that led to the killing of one Nigerian yesterday in Mpumalanga province. So the reason why we are not talking about that, because I told my people, I said, let's play down this. It was a robbery. They came to his business and then robbed him of his belongings, and he wanted to overpower them, and he was shot. That person is not a drug dealer. But if we start talking about this now, it will look as if it's a xenophobic thing that led to his killing.
Which South Africa has emphasized over and over that the violence going on, South African government has refused to see this as xenophobia. They say it's just violence. It is not xenophobia. You are on ground in South Africa. Is it xenophobia or is just random violence going on?
It's xenophobia. For the fact that they are not accepting shows that they have something to hide.
Right.
It's a pure xenophobia. It's not against Nigerians alone. And that is what we need to correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a pure xenophobia. And apart from the xenophobia that we can see on people to people, there are systemic ones. Why is it that it is this time that you are arresting undocumented migrants? Some people are even documented. They have their papers. They are arrested. Why is this time that you are issuing circular that you are not going to employ foreign nationals in schools and in hospitals? That this period that we are talking, people are counting their losses. And so it's a pure, they are xenophobic.
Before I go to Mr. Temi Gold, Mr. Ita, let me stay with you, because it's important that we explain this and let people know exactly what the mindset is, especially for Nigerians in South Africa right now. You did mention earlier on that there are people like you who are gainfully and lawfully doing business in South Africa. You need to pass through some security checks before anything can get to people like you. But there are other Nigerians as well who are exposed to these threats, like the person you just mentioned right now who was shot, while being robbed. And there is an attempt currently. Some of them will be in Nigeria. 320 of them will be in Nigeria today from South Africa. There is about over 600 of them that have indicated their interest to come back to Nigeria. A lot more Nigerians are still in South Africa. What is the state of mind of an average Nigerian in South Africa right now? Because we're hoping that the numbers will be much more than 620 or thereabout. It's almost like nobody wants to come home despite the risks they have been faced with.
In fact, let me also correct the statistics that is being bandied around as Nigerians that are in South Africa are in their hundreds of thousands. They are not 27,000. In fact, if we can have, Nigerians, they don't even join associations. They don't want to be responsible. It's only when they have problems they remember that there is Nigerian Union and so on.
Right.
We have over 30,000 membership. Our executive in the provinces alone, they are over 1,000. Because we have wards in each of the major towns and cities, and even remote areas. And so they are in hundreds of thousands. In fact, the High Commission put it at 800,000. The South African government, as at yesterday, when the state security person was talking, they put it at between 300 and 400,000. And so that information is not...
So we really don't know how many Nigerians are in South Africa. Nigeria does not know. South Africa also does not know.
Now, the major thing now that we are facing with, as you have rightly asked, it is people that doesn't have what is they are doing, and mostly they are destitute, that will be able to gather whatever they have and move in a short space of time.
Right.
Some people have properties. They have their life. They have built their life over time. So there is not going to be easy for them, even if they want to come home. There are quite a number of us that are thinking of relocating back home, and we have been making preparation to say that, okay, in the year 2020, in the year 2021, when my daughter finishes, I have to make sure that I move back home a little bit and then look for something to do at home. But this one is actually an emergency case. So it's meant for people who are actually distressed now. Like I always say that there are some Nigerians that doesn't have business in South Africa. Because if you don't have skills, if you don't have know-how, or that can actually that is better than that of the citizen, you don't stand a chance. A woman spoke to me yesterday. What she does to use to take care of her children is frying of granite. And you may think it's a very small business. She's making it big. And her shops was part of the shop that was born. And she told me, she said, when they went to pick their pieces and start doing trading, they did not allow them. The taxi driver said they don't want foreigners in that place. I understand. It's always happened like that. I told her that when I'm back, we will reintegrate you back. But what the woman is doing is that she's moving around now, selling to people, going to her customers and selling to them. And food business in South Africa is also very good. They are crazy about our food.
Oh.
Like I was telling somebody yesterday that you can use egusi to hypnotize any of South Africans.
Wow.
They love it so much. And so now, the major thing...
Just on a lighter note, egusi and what?
Egusi, ogbolo soup. Egusi soup, ogbolo soup on any starch. Wow, they love it so much.
Let's take a break on this very light note. South Africans like our egusi soup and ogbono. Wow, that's a good one.
And they like our men also, because they are correct when it comes to taking their wife and girlfriend.
Oh, I see.
I can tell you that.
Which is one of the issues South African
It must be
men.
one of the grievances they have.
Right, but let's go on a very quick break, Nigeria. This is a morning crossfire, 99.3 Nigeria Info, and we're talking about the evacuation of Nigerians from South Africa. The first batch of 320 Nigerians is expected today. About 2 p.m. they should arrive in Lagos, and our correspondent Joy Kalio will be there live to give us update as they arrive. We have with us in the studio and on the line, we have Mr. Adetola Olubajo, who's the president, Nigeria Union South Africa, and also Mr. Temi Gold Olaoye, who's the first president and chairman in council, Nigeria Belgrade Serbian Chamber of Commerce. When we come back, we'll read all of your comments from Facebook, from Twitter, from YouTube, from WhatsApp. All of those platforms are available. We'll also take your calls and talk some more about the plans the government has for these returning Nigerians. That will be after this very quick break. I'm Wemimo Adewuni.
I'm Sheriff Quadry.
Gentlemen, I would ask you to please hold the line. We'll be back just in a moment.
Okay.
Your number one talk news and sports station. This is the Morning Crossfire with Wemimo and Sheriff.
This is a morning crossfire with Wemimo and Sheriff 99.3 Nigeria Info. And just before the break, we left on a light note. Mr. Adetola Olubajo, who's the president of Nigeria Union South Africa, is with us on the line and told us that South Africans love our egusi soup and ogbono.
And
our men. They are taking the men of our sisters. So expect
on a very light note, we also have on the line Mr. Temi Gold Olaoye, who's the first president and chairman in Council, Nigerian Belgrade, Serbian Chamber of Commerce. Thank you both for holding the line.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so now that we talked about the men, let's talk about the rate of femicide in South Africa. This has, come up in conversations over time. The argument about South African women loving foreign nationals, especially Nigerians, is an argument based on the fact that, number one, South African men are not employed and so do not have money to take care of their women. Some of them are also not ready to pick up these jobs, and so the women would prefer men who can take care and give them money. Naturally. Natural tendency. There's a high rate of femicide, which is that a lot of women are being raped and killed in South Africa, abused by South Africans. Mr. Olubajo, you live in South Africa. What is the government doing about the rate of femicide in South Africa, which of course would be reasons why women tend to move towards foreign nationals? So if we're not dealing with the root of the issue, like Mr. Temigold said, this is one of the issues. High rate of femicide, women being abused, being raped and killed by South Africans. Is the police force in South Africa able to handle the situation?
You see, like I said in the beginning, that I'm here with the legal advisor of the organization. I think he will be in the right position to answer this question because he's having a lot of experience in this kind of situation. His name is Barrister Omoroge, who is a practicing lawyer in South Africa.
Let's speak with him then.
Barrister Omoroge, good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
There's data from the World Health Organization that 12.1 in every 100,000 women in South Africa are victims of femicide every year, and this has become 5 times worse than the global average, which is 2.6. So tell us, in your work, what's been done about attacks on women, even by South Africans themselves?
Okay, thank you very much, and for granting me this opportunity, and thank you to the listeners as well. Okay, briefly. I've been practicing in South Africa for almost a decade now, which is 10 years. And the structures in place in South Africa, from the statistics of the NPA, which is the National Prosecuting Authority, which belong to the legal fraternity, which I belong as well to, they've been doing immense work. They've been doing well in terms of the prosecution and in terms of the arrests of crimes committed against probably, like you said, gender, the rape cases, other crimes, related crimes in terms of rape. And so much has been done in that area. So that I can tell you, but I can't give you precisely what are the statistics, and because there's been successful prosecution, and many of them are languishing in jail, just like the incident that happened in University of Cape Town, at the post office with the girl that was just raped, an innocent student that went to get a parcel at the post office. So the government of South Africa are doing everything. They are doing very good work to make sure that the perpetrators are brought to book.
It's funny you said that, because looking at the recent wave of xenophobic attacks in South Africa, it shows that the government, the system has crumbled, because people have taken to mob justice, jungle justice, and they've taken laws into their hands, and the authorities seem helpless. Well, you now saying that they've done enough, especially in the area of femicide, it's kind of like conflicting, don't you think?
No, yes, in that area, but when you come to the area of what if we have to concentrate on the issue on ground now, on the issue of xenophobia, because if you look at it, it's just criminal elements that are taking the laws into their hands. But so far, from my little experience, I see they are doing enough. Well, in the area of xenophobia, they're not doing enough on that because, one, xenophobia is not a crime in South Africa. We have to understand that. Xenophobia is not a crime in South Africa. The people are operating under the auspices of xenophobia to commit crime like murder, crime like arson, malicious damage to properties. You understand? That area, when it comes to foreigners now, and especially Nigerians, enough is not done in that area. We are not protected in that area. Hence, we are now putting much pressure on the government of the day, because the government of South Africa has to take responsibility of the carnage that is happening in South Africa.
You have said that xenophobia is not a crime in South Africa, and the South African government has also said it is not in their laws to pay compensation to victims of xenophobia.
No, I disagree with them. No, they can't say they cannot pay compensation. It's not been tested. Hence, we are here. Hence, now, I'm the head of the legal desk with Nigerian Union. We are going to set up a legal team to institute legal litigation against the state. They must be vicariously liable. They can't say it's not a crime. Yes, xenophobia is not a crime, but crime has been committed. Nigerians have lost their properties. Nigerians have died in this process. When you look at this trend that is happening, we authoritatively can give the statistics from day one. This issue, this xenophobia started right from 1994, 95. From the time of Nelson Mandela, I got into South Africa 2000. The first recorded death of Nigerians started in 2000. But the trend started from 94, 95, 98. The state versus Andres case. If you remember the incident of the police officer that videoed a Mozambican that on which a dog on him. Those police officers in Israel were prosecuted and dismissed from service.
What is the compensation the Nigerian Union South Africa aims to get from the South African government?
Punitive damages. We need to. The people must be compensated. Rehabilitation, restitution. That's what we're going to push for.
Is there an amount of money to this or a specific demand?
Obviously, we have to sit down and assess the damages. When we talk of damages, money will be involved, and that will be a deterrent. That will be a deterrent to the government, because they've not been held accountable. Mido's case, the Mozambican that was killed, you know the amount of money the South African government paid to the family of the Mozambican that was killed? Do you know the amount of money that was paid? You see, the problem when it comes to Nigeria, we've been quiet about so many things. We are opportune. I read. You cannot practice in South Africa if you're not qualified in terms of the Attorneys Act. You have to start from the scratch to read. Right. And we have a lot of attorneys that are finished from the system. Right. I urge the legal fraternity of the Nigerian practicing attorney in South Africa. Right. You understand? So this time around, I think we've kept quiet for so long. We've kept quiet for so long. So we need the support of the Nigerian government to push for this to start. Yes, Nigerians are coming back. Right. Those are the few privileged Nigerians that have been in South Africa for 3-4 years. How about people like us that have been in South Africa for almost 20 years?
For a longer time.
20 years. I've been in South Africa for... Next year will make me 20 years in South Africa.
Well, Mr. Temigo, let me ask you this. I'm going to play an audio for you just shortly, but we expect 320 Nigerians today. That's why we're having this conversation. And, we've asked, so what is a plan for these, Nigerians coming back to South Africa? Like many of our guests, both of our guests have said, and yourself, those returning might be those who have been in South Africa for about 5 years or less, meaning...
less 2 years. They just came into South Africa. But before you play the clip, let me tell you one thing that you must understand. Okay. The system systematically is beginning to reject foreigners gradually. I'll tell you one thing. You see, people don't understand that's why we stand the better. We're authority. When I listen to most Nigerians analyzing our problems in South Africa, it's strange to me. It's annoying because you cannot analyze our problems when you are not on ground. How is that possible? I take you back now. Let me before you play the clip now. Look at the Home Affairs. Do you know I have almost 120 Nigerian applicants that are qualified for the renewal of their status? But you know what the system is doing? The Home Affairs are gradually, systematically, intentionally, not negligently, refusing to renew, most especially Nigerians' permits.
Just to be sure, and let's state this very clearly, are you implying that the South African government is xenophobic? I'm 100%, or if I can say 120% sure they are extremely very xenophobic.
All right, let me play to you this interview we had with Mr. Justice Tiena Besu Bibi, who's the communications officer of the Nigeria Social Investment Program. So I asked him a number of questions about the Nigerians returning from South Africa today and what the plan of the government is for them when they return. Listen to this interview. We'll be right back.
Mrs. Abike Dabiri, the CEO of the National Diaspora Commission, got in touch with us through the essay on social investment, and to see how we can intervene and assist those guys returning from South Africa. So, what is open? We have the National Homegrown School Feeding Program. We have the Empower Program, we have the Conditional Cash Transfer Program, then we have the Government Enterprise Empowerment Program, which is JEEP. So what is open for them right now is the JEEP. So it's close to, they can't apply for Empower, of course, they can't apply for National Homegrown School Feeding. There's nothing for them in the Conditional Cash Transfer, because we already have timelines that will not open the new registration for those programs. So what is open for them right now is the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, JEEP. And we have components of JEEP, which is the trader money, the farmer money, and the market money. So that's the program that's open for them now, JEEP. And because we have rules of engagement, in giving out these interest-free loans on that JEEP. So because we have an emergency now, doesn't mean that we're going to bend the rules. So there are some requirements that they must meet. So those returning from South Africa, the returnees now must meet those requirements before they can, be considered and benefit from. So they can get loans for as much as 150,000 naira under that scheme. So that is what that's what we have made. That's the arrangement so far we've had with Mrs. Abike Dabiri of the National Diaspora, Commission. So that's how SIPs can intervene for now. So concerning your question about 10,000 naira, there's no 10,000 naira waiting for anybody. There's no 5,000 naira waiting for anybody. There's no 20,000 naira waiting for anybody. So if they come in and they're interested in the JEEP, market money, farmer money, trader money, or what have you, then they can apply. Then we can consider them, for those interest-free loans. So that's the arrangement so far.
Okay.
We've made, yes, exactly.
So the time frame for accessing this loan, how long could it take? And is there a possibility of fast tracking for these people?
Hello?
Just hold on.
I think
it's not clear. I'm not even hearing from you. I accept you guys will have to summarize.
Mrs. Abike Dabiri. No, yesterday, yes, that Mrs. Abike Dabiri contacted. So I'm sure they're going to work out. We're going to work out modalities to see if there's going to be a special concession. But what we are saying is that they must meet those criteria, those requirements, like having the very simple ones are requirements though, like having a PVN, like having a registered, business, that you can show that yes, if we give you this money, you can actually invest and pay back. So those are basic requirements they must meet. So whether or not there will be a concession in terms of timeline or fast tracking, trying to facilitate, the process and accommodate them, considering the condition, I think it's an ongoing discussion that Abike Dabiri and our office, would have, as time goes on.
Okay, the fear we have from this end is for many of them who are coming in, they definitely don't have businesses here already. Most likely don't have businesses running. Many of them will probably be coming with nothing. And for those of them who've been in South Africa for a long time, probably don't even have places to stay. So if we're expecting 640, 320 arriving tomorrow, the fear we have is that we might have a disaster on our hands of people being left at the airport with nowhere to go and nothing to do.
I'm sure that's a huge burden for the federal government, and I'm quite sure that, away from the social investment program, the government has several other programs and policies that they can leverage on to accommodate these guys. But from our own end, as implementers of the SIP, this is what we have agreed to offer. For now, so I'm sure that government is a huge burden on government, and they will also explore, they will also look at other agencies and other parastatals to see how, they can also accommodate them, in terms of accommodation and every other thing. But for the SIPs, we can only accommodate them on that cheap.
All right there. You listened to Mr. Justice Tienabeso BBA, who is a communications officer of the National Social Investment Program. That's a program under the Office of the Vice President that caters to Nigerians in terms of welfare and social packages. And I asked him a number of questions about these Nigerians returning tomorrow, if there was any plan. What is said in summary for our guest on the line is that those returning from South Africa must then apply for the existing program,
which is just one.
And there's just one of them available to them. That's the Jeep. And they would need to have existing businesses.
Right.
That's actually the template for applying. You have an existing business. You have a BVN. And I asked him, for these Nigerians returning, they don't have any business here. They don't even have bank accounts here or BVN. So he's saying they're not sure if they'll be able to fast track for them or not. In summary, we don't know what these Nigerians will be doing when they return.
It's not clear.
Mr. Temi Godolayi, welcome back. With this summary, with these Nigerians returning today and some more returning subsequently, what should the government be doing in providing for them and resettling them in Nigeria?
All right. It goes back to what I said first. You understand? It goes back to the first thing, which is the source of all this thing. As much as I condemn the killing and maltreating of Nigerians anywhere in the world, we should still go down to the basics. The basics are just like what I said. What are these people doing in South Africa? You're coming back to Nigeria now. What were you doing in South Africa? Because that is on that basis that the government will be able to help you. You see that we come back to the first thing.
So if they are not doing anything in South Africa, does that mean that the government shouldn't help?
No. If you're not doing anything in South Africa, that is some of the things that the government have in place here. They have entrepreneur institutes that you go to, and after you get out of that entrepreneur, you're entitled to a loan from Central Bank. I know about that.
And all of this would take months, All of this would take months.
Definitely.
So for that, now, for some of them who don't have accommodation here and all.
Yes, for the interim, what I think the government can do is to go in partnership with the union and see how they can accommodate them for some few days or give them something that they could hold on to and then plan something for them.
What union do you have in mind exactly? You said
the union, the African Union of Mr. Adetola.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you mean the Nigeria Union, South Africa?
Yes, the Nigerian Union in South Africa. Yes.
Mr. Adetola, these Nigerians returning, I don't know if you've spoken to any of them, those of them who have chose to return to Nigeria. Do they have any plans about what to do when they come back here?
Quite a number of them, the few people that we have spoken to, what is in their mind now is to run to safety. In fact, by the time they land, we have some people there at Muritara Mohammed that is actually going to receive some of them. But what is in their mind now is that they are actually coming out of a very, very traumatic situation. Some of them saw, all of them, not even some of them, they saw this thing live. That is one of them, Okoro. He was not affected with this one, but he was affected with the one that happened last year. And since that time, he has been selling somebody that has a shop. Now he's selling petty things on the street. So when this opportunity comes and it's not documented, his permit was not renewed. Like our legal advisor has said, quite a number of people will go for renewal permit. They'll be locked out of system. So you need to go to the High Court because they always lose case. Check, you can check it. Home Affairs always lose cases, and they will have to pay compensation. Even police on lawful arrest, they always lose cases. It's a known fact. That's why South Africans will say that they are not going to pay anything, and they are blocking everybody to go to court. And so these people are actually running to safety now. So the issue of what they are planning to do and everything will come in immediately they get here. Some family members are expected to receive even their loved ones. They will pick their pieces. Whether the government help them or not, at least they are going to be saved. And there are some organizations that are going to help in this regard also. We are going to help them. We are going to make sure, because there is a pastor that have shown interest. The pastor came to South Africa in 2017. He gave $10,000 to Nigerians that lost their means of livelihood too, and we share it in an open place in Limpopo. And many of them are bounced back in their businesses.
Right.
And so now we are going to appeal to some people, and we are talking to them, even some of the people in Abuja, to say that you need to take up some of these people and help them. Right. But for now, what is in their mind of most of them is safety.
Right, let's head to the phone very quickly.
Hello, if I may come in here.
Yes, very quickly, please.
We are ready. The Nigerian Belgrade Serbia Chambers of Commerce is ready to work with the Nigerian Union. We can employ some of them through some of our members. If we can have some of their CVs, those of them that are professionals, those that are doctors, lawyers, those that are even working office as office assistants.
This makes me smile so widely. You just have to see me.
and those that are into business, we can also train them, do one or two things with them that within a period of 2 months they can be able to annex a loan from the government.
Thank you so much for that.
And some of those that has trauma, shock, we can provide psychologists that could attend to them. I think we can do that one under a week.
Right.
Between from this time and a week. So,
this is certainly. You can be sure we will link you both together. This is the best part of this show.
But at the same time, we'll still stand by our word. We need to go to the roots.
Right. Let me hold you here a bit, Mr. Temi Gold. We need to take some calls. The phone lines are buzzing, but I must thank you so much for that offer. We'll link both of you together and, of course, follow up so these Nigerians can be rehabilitated. I am so happy right now. Here are the phone numbers if you want to join us for a quick time.
On 0127709993, 0127719993, 0127729993, and 0127739993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
This is Nigeria Info. We are listening. I think this is my best show this week. I am so elated. I am so glad about this offer coming in from Mr. Temi Gold Olaoye, the first president and chairman in council, Nigerian Belgrade Serbian Chamber of Commerce, has offered to help the returning Nigerians as much as they can. We can take a few calls. Facebook is agog with comments. Where do we start from?
Let's start from somewhere.
Okay, let's start with Celestine C. David, who says, we as Nigerians have no business to be in South Africa. Well, you can't say that. Olatunbi Oluwalayomi Abraham says, Nigeria leadership, okay, we have built nothing in Nigeria to represent ourselves. He says, Ubani Kelvin Arinze says, South Africans claim that Nigerians sell drugs, fake goods, and so on. Yet the shops looted are not drug shops. The food they steal are the same that they claim to be fake. The car shops they set ablaze are not drugs. I'm totally angry at the defense put up by our representative in South Africa. Let's go to the phones, shall we?
Yes, let's go to the phones and have this conversation. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes,
sir.
good morning. What's your name, please? We lost that one. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good
morning.
Yeah, greetings to you all.
Greetings. Please tell us your name.
Yeah, this is a diplomatic item good for Frankfurt in the States.
Yes, please go ahead.
Go on, please.
Okay, please, I want to contribute on this South African.
Please go ahead. You have 30 seconds. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to contribute on this South African issue.
Please go ahead with your comment.
What about the people that are represented from Libya? What the government has then done to these people?
Oh, the returnees from Libya.
People. Yes. And also, what about we that we are here? What is the benefit we are getting from the government?
Are you a returnee from? Are you a returnee?
No, I'm talking about we are here. Have we benefited anything from the government? What about the people that are coming back?
Well, I understand that, but for today, our focus is on these Nigerians returning today.
Right.
Can we stay with that, please? We have Jonathan.
Jonathan is here from Akbara. Jonathan, good morning to you.
Yeah, Sheriff and Wemimo.
Welcome, Jonathan.
Good morning, Jonathan. I want to appreciate you for bringing this gentleman. Mr. Tola and the lawyer, I am really on your side. 120%. I think the day before yesterday, I took my time to go on the YouTube and I watched a lot, even the one that happened on Sunday. Even after the emperor came back, it still happened on Sunday. I watched it. It is purely xenophobia. When there was a popular person that came to brief them somewhere, because that person was telling them the pure truth, and they took offense and they scattered the whole place. I think it's purely, for me, I have been on them over 20 years. I don't have any digital TV in my house. I don't have, because they are cheating people.
All right.
This country.
All right, Jonathan.
That's my own way of protesting against them.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Barry Saladayo is here from Yaba. Barry Saladayo, good morning to you.
Good morning, Radio Nigeria. I'm a first-time caller. Anyway.
You're welcome to the show. This is Nigeria Info.
Yes, I am a bit angry with the manner in which the president of the Nigerian South African is trying to change the narrative. In all fairness to him, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please make it quick.
Yes, in all fairness to him, Nigerians may have gone there undocumented, perhaps committing one crime or the other, but there are laws. You can't take laws into your hands and resort to jungle justice and you try to justify it by any means.
Right.
If there's any credit I want to give to Nigerian government, I will give it to them in the area of the fact that Nigerian government will never support that. In fact, our own police are busy killing us for taking laws into our own hands.
All right, Bryce.
And arresting people who have stolen and looted shops. Can we take a final call from Kenneth?
Kenneth is here from Surulere. Kenneth, good morning to you, Kenneth.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
30 seconds, please. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to just quickly say that the truth of the matter is we have some of our Nigerian brothers that are committing crimes everywhere in the world. But what other countries, what other civilized countries that do serious business do is that they arrest these people, they prosecute them. If they are found guilty, they are jailed. So there is no justification at all for a country to say they want to resort to xenophobia, killing people unjust. People anyhow. I don't support it. I've been listening to the analysis there, and he said our Nigerian brothers are doing this, and we should look at ourselves. Yes, but the truth of the matter, that is not justified in any way.
Absolutely right. Thank you so much for calling us. We have emphasized on this also. Every life matters. Right. Underline that in capitals and all. But we need to go now. It's been a fantastic show, especially with this offer. I'm so excited about it. Thank you very much for joining us today. Mr. Adetola Olubajo is the President, Nigerian Union in South Africa. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, and God bless Mr. Gold. We are very happy. In fact, that is the best news I've ever heard.
Absolutely. Mr. Temigold Olaoye, we thank you very much for the offer and for also joining us on the show. He's the first president and chairman in council, Nigerian Belgrade Serbian Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much, sir.
You're always welcome.
Thank you. So we will link you both together right after the show so we can get things rolling. Nigeria, thank you for joining the show also today. It's been good having you join us. You can watch a replay on Facebook, on YouTube at Nigeria Info FM. And we will be seeing you again tomorrow morning. I am Wemimo Adewuni.
And I am Sheriff Quadry.
Let's say a big thank you to Tosin Akinride, Yvonne Ohafor, and Zainab Yakin for assisting on the show. Let's talk on Twitter. Sheriff is there, Sheriff Quadry. I'm there at Wemimo Sport. See you again soon.